Good morning, and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I am located at 1563 Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I am here with you every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you, the landowner, the Pennsylvania landowner, the information that you need regarding oil and gas development in Pennsylvania. And as always, in case you have forgotten, I represent Pennsylvania landowners and oil and gas right owners. I do not, have not, and will not represent oil or gas companies or pipeline companies. I will represent Pennsylvania landowners and oil and gas right owners for such items as gas lease negotiations, gas lease pipeline agreements, reviews, and consultations. I cannot encourage you enough to call the office if you are presented with a pipeline agreement, gas lease agreement, frankly, any agreement. Call the office. Learn about the review and consultation service. I promote it because I'm telling you, it usually takes 1 to 2 hours. You send me the information. We can do it by telephone. We do most of them by telephone because I have clients literally all across Pennsylvania gas producing regions, as well as located in other parts of the country. So as I say, please do not let distance from my office discourage you. Do not. We can do things by get me the documents by U.S. mail. You can email me them. You can fax them to the office. I review them thoroughly, and then we set up a call or an in-office conference, and I'm telling you, they have worked so well for so many people. I did, I think, 3 or 4 just this week. All of them great sessions, and the landowners routinely, virtually all the time, say, wow, so glad I did this. So I'm not preaching this solely, so, hey, call me, I need business. No, I really want to give you the information that you need and the tools that you need to make the right decision for you. I want to make sure that if you're offered 12.5% royalty, and I know that somebody else in your township and your county is offered 15, 16, 17 by the same company, you need to know that. And that's just one part of the things that we discuss. And because we're so active and I have clients in all kinds of areas of gas producing areas in Pennsylvania, I have a very good idea of what the market is. And so we can help you with that. We want to make sure you're getting the best deal. But again, that's just the beginning. In any agreement, you need to know the good and the bad. The good is generally going to be the money. The bad, well, that's in the details. And we'll break down the details of what you need to know. It is critical before you sign a document that you get legal advice, legal consultation with somebody who knows what they're doing, who's experienced in this area. So whether it's me, love for you to call, learn about the service and all that we do. Give us a call at the office, learn about it. The number 570-307-0702. That's 570-307-0702. I am here to help you. We are here to help you. So give us a call, learn about what we do. And I mean this. I can say this with every bit of honesty as I think I do with all the things I talk about, but I mean this so much. I want to convey it. If you do not call our office, please call somebody who knows what they're doing that can give you the advice. Quick little war story. By the way, you're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Real quick, sidetrack war story. This past week, longtime client, gets a pipeline right-of-way agreement offer, sends it in to me, thinks, okay, hey, I want to do this. In this example, it was $15 a foot. Explain to the client, hey, look, I think there's more money here, and here's all the different reasons why. So have a conversation with the client, have a conversation with the company representative, and I won't get into the details of the money, but let me just say that the money is significantly increasing, which was a matter of a call to understand the market, to understand the options. Then we dive into the terms of the language. If you are considering signing a pipeline right-of-way agreement for $5, $10, or even $15, my advice is make sure you understand what you're doing, because most of the time that I'm involved, that I see, you have some leverage there. And I'm seeing people sign agreements at $5, $10, and $15 when I have clients who have eminent domain offers that are routinely in excess of $50 a foot. And I'm talking about a per foot price. So we have to, here it goes again, we have to stop signing bad agreements. Why are Pennsylvania landowners signing bad agreements? There's only one reason: because they're not informed. That's the reason. People sign bad agreements because they're not informed. Why are they not informed? They're either not making an effort, they're making an effort, but they're not able to acquire good, credible, solid information to help them make the right decision, or they're solely getting their information. They're becoming, quote, informed, unquote, by the gas company representative, whether it's an employee directly of the gas company or a landman who is contracted by the gas company. So the gas company is their client, and they're the ones that you're relying on to inform you of what you need to know to make the right decision. Does it make sense that the source of your information should be the gas or pipeline company? I would respectfully submit that it doesn't make sense. That, yes, you take that information, you digest it, you put it into the big basket of information that you're receiving, but you need to get information from another perspective, from the perspective of somebody who is working for you, who understands what you need to know, who sees how landowners have been taken advantage of by signing bad agreements. The information is there. We have history. We can look at this and we can say, hey, you got to know the good, you got to know the bad. The good's often easy. And of course, what is the company going to focus on? The good. Who wouldn't? But we need to make sure you're aware of the bad. Then we need to know, hey, can we change the bad? Can we make it good? Can we make it better? We need to do that. We talk about that. We understand. And sometimes at the time you're dealing with this negotiation, it can be determined that, hey, we're not going to be able to change that. That's a bad term, and we're not going to be able to change it. So then you as the landowner now understand the good, the bad, where in the future you may be scratching your head and saying, why in the world am I getting peanuts for royalties when I see other people are doing much better? Well, the answer may be, and I predict strongly that it will be, because you're having deductions, you're having affiliated sale pricing where the company is using an index, and you're going to get slaughtered, in my opinion, in future royalty calculations. So if you know that, then you decide, hey, look, I don't like this. I realize that this is a really poor royalty calculation method for me under this lease. However, I have 100 acres. The company is offering me $2,000. That's a total of $200,000. I'm 80 years old. I'm 65, 70. This money could help me to retire now. This money could help me pay for my kids going to college. whatever. Now, you're probably a little younger, probably. But the point is, if it's going to be this life-changing money, or it doesn't have to be life-changing, if you weigh out, so when we say that basket of information, that you're getting all the information from the company, then you get the information from somebody working for you, well, now you weigh that all out and you can make an informed decision. So if you sign what I may call a bad agreement, you're doing it knowingly, that you know what the risks are, you know the good and the bad. I'm attorney Doug Clark, and you're listening to All Things Marcellus, and I'm here with you every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you the valuable information that you need regarding gas development. Remember, I have not, do not, and will not represent oil and gas companies. But okay, so you may sign an agreement when you know that there's some bad language, there's bad royalty calculations, that you're going to have deductions taken, that the company's going to give you a real low gas sale price. You may know all those things and decide to sign, or not advice for anybody, or you may have, for example, a review and consultation and find out all the good and bad in your lease. And you may say, wow, I didn't realize that. And those bad factors outweigh that front end money. So I am either going to try to negotiate to improve the bad factors, to make them better, to make them more fair, or I'm going to sit and wait to see if the lease offer improves. And like I say all the time, remember, guys, remember. No company ever says, hey, yeah, we're offering royalties, but we're going to take full deductions. Whatever deductions are allowed under law, we're going to take them. We're going to take full deductions. We're not going to do any other type of an agreement unless we can take full deductions. No company says that and then says, but you know what, guys? If you wait a couple months, maybe you wait a year or two, maybe you wait, a couple weeks, or if people don't sign these, you know what? We may change in the future. We may start offering you royalties and not take deductions. No, they don't do that. Why would they? Because everybody would wait. So you have to draw a line in the sand in this process of a negotiation to say, we're never gonna offer royalties without deductions. Now I want to pause and say again, this is not specific advice. I'm not telling anyone to sign, not sign, wait, don't wait. Not at all. That's what reviews and consultations are discussed. But again, I still don't tell people. I very rarely, and it has to be really obvious, say, hey, you should sign this or you shouldn't sign this, because everyone's in a different circumstance. So we need to look at your circumstance. We need to look at your lease. We need to look at your leverage. We need to look at your life circumstance to decide, hey, is this something that's appropriate for you? But ultimately, it's your decision. I never, ever sign a lease. Well, for my clients, we don't sign leases. You sign the lease. You sign the pipeline right-of-way agreement. You need to make the decision, but you need the tools to make the right decision. So my point being, again, not specific advice, but company tells you, hey, we're never going to pay royalties without deductions. Well, of course they're going to tell you that. But when something changes, like I said, I say almost all the time here, it changes all at once. So I go back it was last December before, company says, we'll never pay royalties without deduction. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing like crazy on one day in December. I'm like, what in the world? Why is the phone ringing so much? Well, all of a sudden, that company who preached that they weren't going to pay royalties without deductions started what they call royalties without deductions. Boom. Drop of a hat. Instantaneously across a certain area, everything changed in a matter of a day. So if you signed a day before to allow deductions, you signed a day after, your royalty calculation is going to be substantially, and I mean substantially different. Now, the flip side, maybe the company never changes positions. Maybe they don't, but you need to understand how this process works and decide, what is my risk tolerance? Do I want to take this risk and wait? And a lot of factors come into play there. Okay, we're up against the first break here. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. You can always call and learn about the review and consultation. Call and learn. Get the information. 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702. Learn about the service. It has been tremendous for people. That's our experience, usually 1 to 2 hours. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can find me right here. Join me right here on this station every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. And remember, if you miss any of today's show, go to pagasleaseattorney.com or pipelineattorney.com. We will have today's show up and available Monday morning. And think about it. Gas lease, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. A lot of great information on the websites, whether you're looking for representation or high quality information. Visit pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com, and check out the hours and hours and hours of radio shows available. I've been doing the show since 2010. Okay. I can't help it. I have to again, and I'm sorry, but I have to talk about affiliated sales. And please stay with me. I will move on from this subject. I'm not going to make the whole show on this, but I have to talk about it because it is enormous. Enormous. As somebody once said, it's huge. And it's not good. It's not good for us. Maybe good for them, not good for us. And why do I keep talking about it? I say I have this real long list. I have this enormous list of radio show topics. And I keep bumping things down my list because affiliated sales are making me virtually crazy. And thankfully I have the show for a little therapy so I can have an outlet, because I don't like to see. Why do I say have not, do not, and will not represent gas or pipeline companies? Because I'm a little guy lawyer. I want to represent the little guy. I want to help you. I really do. My whole career, that's what I've done. I want to help you. It's who I am. It's where I'm from. My dad's a steelworker farmer. His dad was a steelworker farmer. It's what I want to do. I want to help people like my parents. I want to help people like our listeners. That's what we want to do. I don't care if it sounds corny or not. That's what we want to do. It's who I am, and it's what I want to do, and I will not do something that I feel is taking advantage of an individual. It's, in my mind, it's not right. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying anyone's being taken advantage of in some way that's not right, so I don't get these emails and letters from certain things for people. But what I'm saying is we need to even the playing field. We need to get this information to you. So why am I talking about affiliated sales? Because in my opinion, landowners are going to see their royalties get crushed from what they might otherwise have received. And I say this based on good reason. We'll say it's my opinion, but I feel very strongly about this opinion. And, in preparing for the show, I grabbed a couple leases. So I found, look, the SWEPI lease in 2015. In 2015, the SWEPI lease has the following, I'm reading from it here. The following royalty language offered in 2015 says, royalty payments on oil and gas, along with all hydrocarbon, non-hydrocarbon substances produced in association therewith, except storage gas, lessee company shall deliver to lessor landowner royalty based on, in this case, 1/8 of the proceeds, less all applicable taxes, including production, severance, and windfall profit taxes, and less transportation, compression, dehydration, and gathering costs, if any, funny, realized by lessee company for that produced and marketed off the leased premises. Okay. Royalties based on the 1/8 value of the proceeds minus transportation, compression, dehydration, and gathering for proceeds realized by the company for gas produced and marketed off the leased premises. Period. That's the end of it. So there's that one. Gone. Next one. Here's what you're getting today, guys. Here's what you're getting today. I don't even want to, it's going to take it's take a long time to read this. So let me get I actually have to get my glasses on. It just recently started. I had to wear glasses, so it's still an adjustment for me. Okay. So, all right. So I just read that one. Pretty short. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read this. This is the new one, 2016 offer. Same thing, paragraph number 4. Hang on. Yep, both of them, paragraph number 4. Okay, paragraph number 4, royalty payment. I'm going to read this first part quick. All right, well, I'm going to try to read it quick. So, for all gas and oil except storage gas that are produced and sold from the leased premises, lessor, landowner, shall receive a royalty of 15% of the sales proceeds actually received by lessee company from the sale of such oil and gas production, less the same percentage share of post-production costs as defined below. Post-production costs means but is not limited to item number 1, all losses of produced volumes, whether by evaporation, use of fuel, line loss, flaring, venting, or otherwise, and item number 2, all costs actually incurred by lessee and, if applicable, lessee's affiliate. Didn't hear affiliate in that other one, did we? From the wellhead, from downstream of the wellhead, including, without limitation, all gathering, diluent, dehydration, compression, treatment, processing, marketing, and transportation costs incurred in connection with the sale of such production should lessee. Here we go. We're still going, guys. We're still going. All right. Now, this is what you've heard before. I hope you're listening. You listened last week, I hope. Should lessee company sell or transfer or otherwise dispose of such oil and gas to an affiliate of lessee or the company. So if the company sells the gas to an affiliated company, then you, landowner, shall receive a royalty of the 15% of the hire of. Let me pause for 1 second. Look, we're still going on the new lease number 4. We're still reading. I'm still reading. Gosh, I should tell you something. Okay, now, changes. We never heard the word affiliate in the other provision I read about that was offered in 2015, but we're hearing a lot about affiliates now. Why? Well, because it's going to come into play, in my very, very strong opinion. So, okay. So, you get, if they sell it to an affiliate, you get to hire up. Number 1, the sale proceeds received by lessee from the sale or transfer of such oil and gas to its affiliate at or prior to the first point downstream of the leased premises, generally recognized in the industry as a common point of sale. I'm sure your heads are spinning. They think maybe they should. But remember, this is the new form compared to the old form. So they're saying that if we sell it to ourselves at the wellhead, to our affiliate at the wellhead, that's the price you're going to get. Or unless this following is higher. Number 2, still the same provision. Number 2, the average daily published price for natural gas at the nearest interstate pipeline. So they sell it to themselves at the wellhead. They go to the local pipeline price, the average price, which is what we've seen by looking at this, almost always less than the price that the gas is sold, and sometimes like 200, 300, 400, 500% less. Okay. Wait. Can't stop there. One more sentence. Both items 1 and 2 are subject to the lessee gas company's right to deduct lessor, being landowners, royalty percentage share of the post-production costs. Literally, my blood pressure had to go up. I don't know. I don't even know how high it can go. But it makes me crazy. Like, they are telegraphing us. They are telegraphing to you that we now have the ability. We didn't spell that out in 2015, 14, 13, 12, 10, 11, 11, 10. We didn't spell it out then, but wow, we're spelling it out now. And you may recall I read the Chevron lease that I just received in the last couple weeks. Last week I did. Same thing. Hey, we can sell it to ourselves at the wellhead, and we're going to give you a local published index price. Actually, they don't even say. They just say published index price. So they could go searching around the country and find the lowest price conceivably and pay you royalties based on that. Why does it matter? Affiliated sales are very, very concerning. And you think, well, if they sell it to themselves, there's a safety mechanism there. Because then they're going to pay me royalties based on a gas price from a local index or a local interstate pipeline point. Well, guys, the reason is, in my experience, this is something that I have studied, that I have been studying for more than a year, probably more than 2 years, and it's something that's terrifying me because it is now a trend. I am seeing this as a trend. You as a landowner believe my gas is going to be brought to the surface, transported to market, sold at market at the highest possible price that the company can get at market. Then, if I have deductions, they'll be taken from that highest possible price. That's the way it usually is. However, now we're seeing a trend. I'm seeing a trend, and I just read you the language. Now, that company, gas comes out of the ground, sells it to their affiliated company at the wellhead, then pay you the local interstate pipeline average price, which is going to be some of the lowest pricing in the country due to the fact that we have a lot of gas and the saturated market. So we're going to pay you that price. If the local hub price is $1, but we sell the gas for $4, we're going to give you royalties based on $1 because that's the local price at the hub point or at the interstate pipeline. Even if we sold it for $4, if the hub price is $1, that's what we're going to give. And you know what? If your share of deductions are 80 cents, we're going to subtract those from $1, and you're going to get royalty on 20-cent gas. Or, under the other example, if they sell it at $4, then there's 80 cents in deductions. Well, then royalty at $3.20. So 20-cent royalty, $3.20. Is there a little bit of a difference? I'll say heck yeah. Heck yeah. You can insert what you like. We'll say heck yeah. So we need to be careful. And I can just see it. In my opinion, this is going to happen. In my opinion, no one's talking about it. Is the landman telling you about this? Is the landman telling you about the price mechanisms? Are they talking to you about royalty calculation method? Are they showing you local index price, sales price? Are they looking at that? Are they educating you on that? Are you making informed decisions? You need to have this information, to put it in the basket of information, to weigh out, to decide, do you or do you not want to negotiate this? Do you want to sign it? Or do you want to wait and see if things improve? Never specific advice. I'm not offering specific advice. My specific advice is get specific advice for you. So the show isn't that. So whether you call me or call someone else, you need to get advice for you. It is critical. So the difference, oh man, one more thing. You know what? All right, I'll hit this when I get back after this break. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember, you can call about a review and consultation, 570-307, or anything else, 570-307-0702. I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station, and I'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station. Okay, I want to finish a point, and then I'm going to try to give you guys a break. But I'm telling you, I hope you go to bed at night if you have an offer in your head or offer presented and thinking over and over, affiliated sales. Every once in a while, throw in deductions, affiliated sales, deductions. That needs to be the dialogue, the narrative, and look, have some fun. Ask the landman, hey, what's this about affiliated sales? What does this mean? Can you give me a price comparison for the last year of what was the index price that you will be using versus what is the price the gas is sold at? Ask that question. Go to the website, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Listen to the show, rewind it, write that down, ask the company the question, ask them, and then give me a call and let us know what they say. I have a really strong idea what they're going to say, but I'm telling you, that's the information that you need to know. That's the information you need to know, and we got to get it out there. So look, I want to say, I try to finish the point, or I'm going to finish the point. So, okay, if you as a company, if I am a company, and believe me, I won't be, but if I were a company and I had the choice and I was able to have a landowner sign an oil and gas lease that allowed for me to use a local index interstate price, a hub price locally, and I could tell them, or not tell them, but I could use that price as the gas price, the sale price, not the price that I actually, or my affiliate sells the gas at, but I can use that price to say this is the price of gas, meaning if the hub price is $1 and I sell it at $4, or my affiliate does, or if I sell it at $3, whatever, pick any number, $2. I don't want to be some exaggerator here. If I sell it at $1.50, well, that's a lot of money. That's a big difference. So what really drives me crazy is if you're offered 12.5% royalty and you are also allowed to have your gas price set based upon a local index or hub point or interstate pipeline price because of the language of your agreement, and then the company can take deductions. Wow, that's going to be something. And that, in my opinion, is absolutely going to happen, in my opinion. Absolutely. Let me tell you this. If I'm a company, that's a dream. But I'll tell you something else. In my opinion, if I were a company, I would pay, from what I see and what I'm studying, I'd easily pay 25%. I don't even know what the number would be, but I would pay a very high royalty if I could use this royalty calculation method. So, quick example, let's use real easy math. If the local index hub pipeline price, interstate pipeline price is $1, real easy math, but my affiliate sells it at $2. Well then, you can see the starting point, if you use that hub or index price, is 1/2 of the price of the gas that you actually, or your affiliate actually sold it at. So let's just do again, simple math. If you have a lease at 15% and you're paying on $1 gas, well, 15% of $1, that's 15 cents. But if you had to pay it at $2, 15% of $2 would be 30 cents. So again, that's double. So what would you rather have? Would you rather pay royalties at $2, which would be the sales price of the affiliate, and give the landowner 15% royalties, or would you rather pay the landowner on $1 gas price, $1 gas, and instead of paying them 15%, pay them 20%? 20% of $1 is 20 cents. 15% of $2 is 30 cents. So you as a landowner in this example would be considerably better off to have a much lower royalty percentage, but have your gas price set at the actual sale of your gas. That what you're getting paid on is what the company or its affiliate actually sells your gas at, versus a higher royalty percentage, but a lower gas price. Now, I know that gets confusing, but the point is, I'm actually starting to see these numbers in the royalty percent bumping up in offers in Tioga County. And my theory is that companies know, hey, look, we sign everyone we can at 12.5, then we got to jump to 15. We sign everyone we can at 15, then we have to make a decision, do we offer more or not? Well, maybe they are offering more, guys. Maybe they are. To some people, maybe not. Maybe they are. So if you're a company, who cares if you paid 20%? As long as you can calculate the royalties on a lower starting point, the lower price of gas. I would much rather pay a landowner 25% royalty at $1 gas than paying them 12.5% at $4 gas. So there are different variables here. We can't just look at royalty percent. And I'll tell you this, if anybody out there is telling you that royalty deductions are about 1.5%, 2%, anyone's telling you that, I don't know what you do, actually. Because I'm going to tell you I don't believe that's accurate. Not only is that, in my opinion, not accurate, that's crazy. Using that crazy word a lot today. Well, why do I say that? Because there are many people, over the last year that had their gas pumped and sold from wells, producing wells, not a little bit here, from wells, sold. And the post-production cost deductions exceeded the sale price of the gas. So all of their gas went to market from the wells and was sold. And they didn't get a penny of royalties because the sale price, if it was, say, $1, was below the post-production costs, say $1.10, $5, $50, $1, whatever it may be. So that's not 1.5% or 2%. No, that's 100%, actually even more. So that's not everywhere, but there are many other places where routinely, today's market, these are all variables, but today, royalty deductions, 30 would be wonderful. But no, we're seeing routinely 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% of royalties going in deductions. So when a guy tells you, lady tells you, yeah, we're seeing deductions about 1.5%, you know what? Start showing me some royalty checks. Get me some sample royalty checks, and let's start looking at those. And then how about this? If that's what you're saying, then how about we do this? Let's put a clause in there that my deductions can't be more than 25%. Since you're telling me they're only 1 or 1.5 or 2, let's put in there that they can't be more than 25%. I'm going to guarantee you this, that ain't happening. That's not going to happen. So again, do not rely on the company landman to educate and inform you in what you need to know, because nothing against them as individuals. That's okay. We know this. They work for the company, not you, the landowner. That's okay. But we need to know it, and we need to take that information and say, hey, we're smart. We realize we got to get some other information. And that's why, I'll try to make this, I'll try. That's why these reviews and consultations have been so valuable to people. And I love doing them because we're getting this information to you on an individual level. We're getting you what you need to know. And I'm telling you, clients will go ahead after these and say, hey, you know what? This was great. I understand all of these things, but giving everything that we talked about and understanding all of these things, I think I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Then we say, okay, can we make this a little better? We also need to make sure that we're getting you the highest possible money. Literally, guy comes into my office this past week. I couldn't believe it. I have multiple people that I've consulted with in the last few weeks that were offered significantly more money than this guy, that they were offered a higher royalty percentage than this gentleman, that they were offered better addendum terms than this gentleman. And thankfully, he came in and I was able to explain to him, look, if you want to do this, this is below market of what I'm seeing offered in your area. And that alone is a tremendous difference in not only the payments that could be made by way of bonus, but future royalty payments. So you can't sign, well, you can, but you shouldn't sign an offer that's below market. And if you aren't getting information from your side, you're not going to know what that is. And that's what we need to do. We need to get you that information, and you need to understand these things, and you need to sign the best possible agreement. So I know sometimes people get nervous. They say, oh man, an attorney, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Hopefully you listen to the show, you get an idea who I am and what I do, and go check out the websites, check out the testimonials, learn about this. But I'm saying, that's a great thing about the review and consultation, because usually you send me everything, we have a conference, the whole process usually takes 1 to 2 hours, and then you have so much more information. And then you can decide, hey, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go from here? And sometimes people say, hey, can you help me out a little more? Sometimes people say, you know what, I'm going to wait. Sometimes people say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and sign. And whatever it is, that's your decision. Dating back to 2007, when I first started really doing this stuff, I said, hey, look, there's no pressure coming from me. There's no pressure to hire me. There's no pressure to sign anything. My goal is to give you the information, to educate you, and to give you the tools that you need to make the right decision for you, for your family, your children, and your grandchildren. And what is the right decision for you very well may not be the right decision for your neighbor or your cousin or your friend or anyone else in your area. It's your decision, and you need to make the right decision for you. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. Call the office, learn about the reviews and consultations, 570-307-0702. And join me right here every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. I'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, give you a break of the affiliated sales. And, look, don't think because I'm switching gears that you shouldn't go back and listen to today's show. Listen to the recent shows where I'm talking about these affiliated sales and royalty deduction issues. It is the number one area of concern for me on behalf of landowners. I am very concerned about this. I fully expect, unfortunately, that many people are going to be very sad and disappointed when they get their royalty checks and see that their royalties were calculated using a local pipeline price or index or hub price instead of the price that the gas was actually sold at market in an arm's length third-party transaction, meaning two unrelated companies. You obviously want the price when it is negotiated by two unrelated companies, not the price that's paid by two related companies. You want a legitimate arm's length third-party transaction. You need to know this. You need to understand it. And look, if you do and you decide to sign, you've now made an informed decision. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I want to take a real quick moment and say again, I've talked about PAGasLeaseAttorney.com. I've talked some about PipelineAttorney.com. I want to stress again, look, write it down, Google it, get information. The websites are a really good source of general information. Remember, the radio show and the websites are not specific advice, but we want to get you the information that you need to think about these things. And I think the websites are a great resource. As I've said before, I've been doing this radio show, All Things Marcellus, since August of 2010. So August of 2010, I started this weekly radio show, All Things Marcellus, not knowing what in the world I was even going to talk about. Here we are, 6+ years later, and I literally, I figuratively will say, have a scroll of ideas. Think about those cartoons when the character opens up the scroll and it goes falling down to the ground and rolls down the hill. That's my list of show topics. So there is a lot to discuss. So we're not quitting anytime soon. So you can go check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com, read the material at your convenience, listen to the prior radio shows. Some of this stuff gets very complicated and math oriented. So sometimes maybe you need to go back and listen again to a certain show to make sure you understand things. Remember, it's not specific advice, but it's a lot of, I think, very good information where, quite frankly, I wouldn't be talking about it. And of course, tune in each week to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. So, okay, I'm going to switch for you. Like I said, we'll finish up here. I've been talking so much about leasing, and here's the deal. I am seeing a big uptick, getting more and more calls from people with lease offers. I talk a lot about Tioga County, and I know I do, but the reason I am is because that's an area where we really need to get that information out. And at the same time, these topics that we're talking about, they cover the state. I talked about Chevron, same type of lease as far as affiliated sales. They're going to use an index price, but they don't even talk about a local. We don't even know what price they're going to use. So this is a trend, and it's something that's very, very concerning to me. So whether you're from Tioga County, whether you're Western Pennsylvania or Northeastern Pennsylvania, these issues all overlap. So again, switching gears finally. So just want to touch on pipelines again. As I'm seeing an uptick in leasing, same thing with pipelines. Getting more and more calls for pipelines. Companies are starting to ramp up, and I think we're going to see that more and more over the coming year and certainly years. And so these, again, are opportunities. You as a landowner, I believe, need to look at these as opportunities. And you want to take advantage of any opportunity you are presented with. I told a quick partial war story earlier in the show in the first segment. Client calls, has an offer, $15 a foot. I say, hey, pretty sure we can get you some more than that. And it looks like we're going to get significantly more than that. That's not saying that happens every time, but I don't know. I mean, I can say this, out of the hundreds of pipeline right-of-way agreements that I've done, and I've worked on agreements, reviewed, consulted with agreements relating to over 60 different companies for pipeline right-of-way agreements. I say that always, not to say, oh yeah, this guy thinks so much of himself. No, I say that to let you know that that's the type of activity that's going on, that's the type of experience that we can draw from to say, what about you and your circumstance? So if you're offered $5 a foot, I don't think I've ever had anyone sign at $5 a foot. I would be so amazed. I have no recollection of that. And I haven't seen that I can recall, a client sign at $15 a foot in a long time. And when they do, that's also very rare. And it's because that we have no leverage, and that say the pipeline is going literally and only critical, only to a well site that say is on that person's property. So we get in and out. There's not a lot we can do. We protect you and we make it better, and then we get out. But many times, and I'm not saying this happens all the time, but I can tell you this, many times pipeline offers go from $20,000 to $50,000, $20,000 to $100,000, $50,000 to $150,000, and so on and so on and so on. We can pick numbers and numbers and numbers. I've had clients receive in excess of $200 per foot for pipeline right-of-way agreements, $100 plus per foot, many, 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 many times. What we have to do is look at your case, look at your leverage, discuss your risk tolerance, discuss how you want to handle this. I have learned so much in dealing with, negotiating, consulting, reviewing these agreements with all of these different companies that we have a basis of information that we can use to help guide you, for you to make the right decision and how you want to proceed. So again, I guess going back on I didn't give my word, but the reviews and consultations, I'm talking about those with gas leases. We do them with pipelines all the time too. To say, hey, wait, let me just tell you that, maybe you think that you have to say yes, but you don't. And here's what you can do. And here's how we've handled this with other clients that's worked very well. It may work for you. That's a decision for you. And we go over everything. And we do these all the time, and they've been very, very successful. Our client retention rate is extremely high, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of is our retention rate is unbelievably high because we do the best we can to get you the best information to help you in every way that we can. That's what we want to do. So again, we do the reviews and consultations for everything. Compressor sites, and meter sites, roadways, pipelines, leases. Really encourage you, check it out. If you have an agreement, something is presented to you, or if you're considering signing, take advantage. Do a review and consultation. It's an hour or two in the vast majority of cases from beginning to end, and that includes where you send me all the documentation and we'll review it. Cases, we'll do some online research, we'll do some background, and I'll make sure that I'm really prepared to answer any and all questions and to tell you what you need to know. And you may not know, and certainly what the company or the landman is not telling you. We're going to tell you that so you can make an informed decision and stop signing bad agreements. Like I started the show, people sign bad agreements because they're not informed. Because you're not informed. That's the only reason. You have the ability to be informed. Let's get you informed. Call, learn about the review consultation, 570-307-0702, 570-307-0702. You're listening to Attorney Doug Clark from the Clark Law Firm. This is All Things Marcellus, and we're trying to get you the information that you need. So, okay, again, I'm going to finish up. We have a couple more minutes left. Let's toss some more on pipelines. We need to make sure that you're not signing, in most cases, my, again, general advice would be, not specific advice. You should not be signing, in my opinion, pipeline right-of-way agreements where the company pays you $100 up front, $500 up front, $600 up front, back-end payment if the company agrees, or if they decide to use the agreement, $5, $10, or even $15 per foot. I grew up in Armstrong County. And like I say, my dad's steelworker farmer, his dad's steelworker farmer. If we had as a child, if the company wanted to put a pipeline on the property in, say, 1970s, 80s, and they were offering $1 a foot, $2 a foot, I tell you, my dad, my grandfather might, probably be interested. And look, that may have been the market. And you're dealing with these vertical wells, these conventional wells, and that's what was happening. And people were signing leases at $1 an acre. Maybe you got lucky and got $5 an acre. But let me tell you, here's a line to remember. Here's something to remember. It is not the 1970s. It is not the 1980s. And it is not the 1990s anymore. It is not. We're now dealing with a whole different monster. We're dealing with horizontal drilling. We're not dealing with 4-inch pipelines. We're dealing with 16-inch, 20-inch, 30-inch, 36 inches. The market is different. Do not be stuck in the past. Because markets were lower in the past doesn't mean they're lower now. My opinion, companies feed off of these historically low prices. And that's where you see areas where there wasn't gas production or pipelines, those guys are making a lot more money because they never thought about, $5, that sounds reasonable. No, they said that's crazy. So we have to do better. Okay, I'm going to leave you with, as I always do, a couple very important things. Number 1, stop signing bad agreements. Number 2, do not rely on a company landman for your information. Why? Company landman works for you. What? No. Works for the company, not you, the land owner. Just a little test for you guys. Just a little test. All right. You're listening to Attorney Doug Clark. I'm here with you every weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. See you next week.